Yeah, recently I made a decision not to do any more YouTube videos until I had an eureka moment, I said. Something that seemed really worthwhile, some understanding would come to me, or something would come to my head that I felt like would be worth sharing to the entire world. An eureka moment. And so if one of those came along, then I would do a video. And I think it did. And I'm not really sure how to share it with people, but just for one moment, it wasn't very much more than just that little moment that everything seemed so clear. The eureka moment, it just came to me. And as I gathered my tools to make the video while the eureka moment was still hot on the stove in the brain, as I gathered things to make this video, the eureka moment was still there, but it was seemingly as if it was flailing away, and I wanted to be sure I didn't let it slip away before I really understood what this eureka moment was. And most assuredly, the eureka moment, the moment of understanding, this clarity that jumped upon me, that simply was there, well, it wasn't simply, I was seeking it. And we'll get to that. I was looking for a eureka moment because I promised that's what it would take to make another YouTube video. Because otherwise, what would be the point? Well, there's a billion of them already. They've covered every subject. And they've done it better than I could in most cases, I'm sure. And so why should I waste anybody's time, especially my own, unless it was a worthwhile moment or a worthwhile reason? So I made a promise to myself that I would wait for that eureka moment. And it came, and it's here, and I'm going to tell you a bit about it in this video. One of the first things I had to do was to quiet my mind, to still the mind, to stop all the wheels from turning. Meditation is a good way to do that. And so I had gone into a meditation. And in this meditation, the clarity, the eureka moment came to me crystal clear. Now you may ask, are you ever going to tell us? Part of the answer was the eureka moment doesn't just jump on your shoulders. You have to want it. You have to seek it. And if you actually do, it shows up, just like this one did. So the key, number one, is to still the mind. That doesn't mean what you might think. Actually, stop all the wheels from turning. It's not exactly an easy task. You can't be thinking about anything that you're worried about, or anything that you're planning, or anything at all. Nothing. You can't think about any aches or pains or worries. You have to forget everything. And to actually do that, if you can accomplish that for even 30 seconds, give it a try. And so the eureka moment that I would be sharing isn't so much my particular eureka moment, but more so how I found it. And I believe anyone can, just like I did. And that is the purpose of this video. So, step one, forget all those distractions, any of them, good or bad, and still the mind. I challenge you to do so right now. Pause the video and try to do that. Try to think of nothing at all. And do it for 30 seconds. You can come back to the video. In fact, we're just going to watch the water for a minute while you all do that. Still your mind for 30 seconds. I don't want you to think about anything at all. Nothing. not even this video. Still your mind, you say. So you're going to do a video telling people to think of nothing at all. Wouldn't sleep take care of that? Well, sleep is dreaming. It's different. When you're awake, it's a different operation entirely. Different parts of the brain function when you're awake than asleep. Certainly, sleep is a way of quietening the mind, obviously. It does shut down. The subconscious mind and all sorts of things kick in. There's countless hours of videos you can watch about what happens in sleep. I've done videos about them, about sleep myself. Sleep is very important, especially to mental health. Many countless videos you can watch concerning the value of sleep, but this isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in your awakened state to quieten the mind almost to the level of sleep, to think of nothing, not even a mosquito on your nose, anything at all. If you can get to that point, you can begin the process of finding your own eureka moment. That's my phrase. It means a moment of, wow, it all come to me. Everything seems crystal clear. So if that seems like a good idea for you, if you'd like to do that, in your waking hours, still your mind and come to this point of absolute clarity. Well, it's an amazing feeling. There's nothing like it that I can compare it to. And I've done a lot of things, but nothing compares to this moment of peace when you quieten the entire mind while you're awake, fully conscious, fully aware of even your surroundings, but not really aware of them, oblivious to any meaning it might have, to simply exist and understand that that's what you're doing right now. You're simply existing. You're only aware of that fact. And that is getting to the basic of consciousness. The beginning of anyone's consciousness had to start in such a fashion. You had to start at some point, ever how you may have been conceived, when you went from knowing nothing to able to know something. That's being alive, being conscious. So this would be a good point to clarify. Still in your mind, the way I'm talking about most likely would involve some degree of at least a preparation for some meditation. You have to be, you have to quieten your environment as much as possible. So go into your quietest place you can find. Make it a point to do this every day, preferably as soon as you wake up, because once you start the day in a eureka state, your choice to leave is often up to you. You will be surprised how long this state of eureka can remain, because you've got yourself into that rhythm, and the day can change dramatically. Your entire life can, for that matter. But let's begin with 30 seconds. Let's achieve the stillness for 30 seconds. You obviously would want to do it longer. And it's not that hard to extend it. It seems to be programmed to be accessible to you. And it doesn't mean once you still your mind that you stay in a blank state. But once you still the mind, it suddenly gears itself up in a completely different manner. And that is the magic of a eureka moment. And so certainly that is worth pursuing. To only have you have 30 seconds of peace would not really be worth it. It's the fact that if you can find 30 seconds, you can find a lot more. In fact, you will find it's a state of being. This peace leads to all sorts of things. Obviously, you have to endure the world. Your day is going to be hectic, but you have a peaceful mindset. You're going to handle it much better, I assure you. And so let's go back to achieving that 30 seconds. Obviously, the quiet room, if you can arrange it, and you should be able to. That's part of the process. You have control. If not, then get it. If you can't find a quiet place for 30 seconds, my friend, you've got more problems than this video can probably solve. And I know most of you can do it. Find the place you can go and learn to still the mind as often as you desire. You'll eventually learn to do it even in hectic environments, because you can actually separate yourself from it to a certain extent, because when you actually stop the wheels and start them again, they're on your terms now. Not really your terms, but you're in flow with a system that seems to be tailor-made just for you and I, despite what it might appear. And so, to still the mind for 30 seconds would almost require a meditative state. You're not necessarily having to get into a true meditative state to do what I'm talking about. To still the mind, throw all the cares away, and tell yourself it's only for 30 seconds, and so your brain will accept this, even though, because it won't resist 30 seconds. You can all take a little break. And that's how you begin, and that's how my eureka moment came to me, and it came to me strong enough that I feel compelled to share it with all of you. To achieve this kind of stillness, a good method is to sit in a straight back chair with your feet to the floor, your palms out, and start to imagine, close your eyes, and imagine as you're thinking of nothing, you imagine that you are in fact seeing energy come from the center of the earth up through your body, and you'll learn to generate this energy. Or to see it is actually increases its capacity. And so this is a state of meditation that is much more complex than just getting into that eureka moment. But these are the same ways you get into a good meditation. The upright, straight back chair gets your back straight, which is very important, and holding your hands out. Again, all this gets your body in a mathematical position to be in line with the energies of the universe, which go throughout the earth. They go from the highest of heavens down to the center of the earth, and they come back through you, and it runs through you, and you're capable of accessing this energy in ways you do not even know. And so the only way to begin to experience it is to experience it, and that is to seek it out. And I'm giving you a little head start. I can do an entire video on how to do a great meditation and how to get started, but that is a different ballgame from what I'm speaking of here. We simply want to teach you how to still your mind, and you can do this anywhere, anytime. You can do it while you're driving. Once you still the mind, you still can see and operate the vehicle. Those are like a secondary functions. It's the mind, the thoughts that you must quieten, and you can do this anywhere. And to learn how to harness that peace just on command is a wonderful thing to know. And so in another video, we're going to go into how to do the meditation complete with this process of stilling the mind. It's a wonderful thing to do. It's a great way to start the day, and you can do it in 5 minutes. It doesn't take that much time. You can also do it for much longer. The first thing you want to do is, like I said, get in that chair, hold your hands out, get your feet to the floor, and line your body up mathematically. And now you're just more prone to feel the universe's energy and receive it more effectively. And by quieting your mind, it's free to just fill your entire being with this essence of what you are, and you start to see that you're much more than you realized. And you realize this first by knowing nothing at all. That's the key, to reduce everything to zero, and then kind of get in sync with the universe and let it flow. So if you'd like to have your own eureka moment, just find a place where you can get a few 30 seconds of peace and quiet, somewhere where it's still, and if the world won't cooperate, then shut them out. Get into that quiet state and quiet your mind wherever you are, especially if you have a nice quiet place. still your mind and allow the universe to talk to you, speak to it. It will actually speak and tell you many things, and you will start to see things in a much different way. And it all begins by stopping and thinking of nothing and being thankful for the very fact that you can perceive being alive, and take it from there. Be thankful for everything that you can think of that makes you happy. Be thankful for it, and think of those things and ponder them always, whenever you can. All these things lead to a quiet and still mindset. And believe me, that's far from boring, because when you have the still mind, now you're able to take on the world and be whatever you want to be, really, as the world opens up to you. And I hope you enjoy trying